Welcome to the deep dive. So, we're diving into some source material today, sent in by one of you, that focuses on something. Well, something truly fundamental. The ultimate countdown.
The ultimate countdown is a good way to put it.
We're talking about the Day of Judgment, Yawm al-Qiyāmah. And I think our mission here is to really unpack how the certainty of this future reckoning, it fundamentally shapes how people believe and act right now, in the present.
Exactly. It's not just about what will happen, but why this belief system makes that day the ultimate motivator for everything you do today.
And the hook for me in these sources is just the sheer level of terrifying focus it describes. All the earthly bonds we rely on, they just dissolve. The sources say a person becomes so consumed with their own fate, they will literally flee from their own brother, their mother, their father, even their wife.
That kind of isolation is hard to even imagine. And it's foundational. The sources are incredibly clear on this. Belief in this day is one of the pillars of Iman, of faith. You simply can't be a believer without accepting it's going to happen.
Okay, so it's non-negotiable.
Completely. So what we'll do is we'll unpack the signs that are said to signal its approach. And then, and this is the crucial part, we'll get into how one actually prepares for that inevitable day.
Right. So let's get into the mechanics of it. You said accountability. What does that actually spell? What does it look like? I mean, we're talking about a day when there are no good lawyers, right? No loopholes.
No loopholes whatsoever. And it's described in a very physical, very visual way. It starts with scales.
Like literal scale.
Literal scales. Your good deeds go on the right side, bad deeds on the left. Simple as that. Then come the records, the books of your life.
And these just appear?
They fly. And you grab your book. If you grab it with your right hand, that's a good sign. Left hand, not so good. And there's this one detail that's just terrifying.
What's that?
Some people, when they see their book of bad deeds flying toward their left hand, they'll actually try to twist around to put their left hand behind their back to avoid it. But the book, it just flies around them and forces itself into their left hand anyway. There's no escaping it.
So there's this visual, physical finality to it?
Complete finality. And after all that, every single person has to cross a bridge. And while you're on that bridge, you still don't know your final destination, heaven or hell.
That's an almost unbearable tension. And the witnesses against you, who are they?
Well, Allah is described as the sufficient witness. But the sources add something else, something really compelling. You are a witness unto yourself.
Okay.
And not just you, but your actual body parts.
Yeah.
Your limbs will testify against you. The hand that took something, the feet that walked somewhere they shouldn't have. They will speak.
Wait, why is that necessary? If you're already there, why do your hands need to talk?
It's about eliminating any possibility of denial. I mean, in that ultimate moment of fear, a person might try to lie, to argue, but you can't argue with your own hands.
Right.
And it goes deeper. It's not just actions. You're held accountable for your hearing, your sight, and even what was in your heart.
Even time itself.
Especially time. There's a whole chapter, Azar, where Allah makes an oath by time, which just elevates its significance. Wasting it is a serious matter.
So if you truly believe this is coming, it completely reframes your life. If someone wrongs you, for instance, you're still motivated to do good because you know the reward isn't lost.
Precisely. It's just deferred. The certainty of that day is what gives purpose to striving for good, even when it's hard.
Okay, so if this future certainty is the driver, let's talk about proximity. How close do the sources say we actually are to this day?
Well, nobody knows the exact hour. The emphasis is always on its suddenness.
How sudden?
The anecdote that's given is, imagine a textile worker. He's got the cloth in one hand, the scissors in the other. He lifts them up to make a cut, and in that exact instant, the trumpet blows. The world ends.
So you're caught in the middle of the most mundane, everyday act.
Exactly. There's not some far-off event you can schedule for. But to give us a sense of proximity, the Prophet gave signs. Think of them like mile markers on a highway.
200 miles to go, 150 miles.
Something like that. And we have to separate them into minor signs and major signs. The minor signs, well, scholars say they began over 14 centuries ago.
With the death of the Prophet himself.
Yes. And I know 14 centuries sounds like a very long time, but there's an analogy used that says even if you live for 1,000 years, in the hereafter, it'll feel like you just opened a door and closed it.
So time is relative. It's moving faster than we think.
Much faster. And among those minor signs, there's a very famous prophetic tradition, a hadith, about a mysterious stranger who asks about them. And scholars today, they look at these and say, we're pretty much there. They're almost all done.
Okay, so what are they? What are these indicators that we're so close?
Well, two of them are just uncannily accurate. The first was that a servant would give birth to her master.
Okay, that sounds odd. Is that meant literally?
No, not in the legal slavery sense. The common interpretation is about a social shift. It's seen as children becoming these self-centered masters over their own parents. Parents devote their entire lives to their kids, and the kids, in turn, act with this entitlement as if they're in charge.
That feels uncomfortably familiar in the modern world.
It does. And the second one is even more visual. He said you would see barefooted, destitute shepherds competing in the heights of buildings.
And people immediately point to
The Arabian Peninsula. You have formerly nomadic pastoral peoples who, through immense wealth, are now in this fierce competition to build the tallest skyscrapers in the world. The Burj Khalifa, the Mecca Clock Tower. It's a direct visual fulfillment.
So if the minor signs are almost complete, what comes next? The major ones.
Right, and they're described as falling on one another very quickly, like beads on a necklace when the string is cut. They just cascade.
And those are
The appearance of the Dajjal, the Antichrist, the return of Isa, Jesus, with three massive landslides, one in the east, one in the west, and one in the Arabian Peninsula. And finally, a great fire that starts in Yemen and drives everyone to their final gathering place.
And when that first trumpet finally blows, it's not a quiet end, is it?
Not at all. It's a physical cataclysm. The sources say the whole earth will shake. It's described as a big thing. Mountains, the very symbols of permanence, will be lifted up and fly around like pieces of scattered wool.
That's an incredible image.
And the sun will be wrapped up, go dark. The stars lose their shine and just start falling. It's the complete undoing of the cosmos as we know it.
Which leads to this idea of ultimate ruin and then rebirth. It's not just humanity that ends.
No. Everything perishes, the entire world, the sky, it's all destroyed. And then it's replaced with a new earth and a new sky.
And that act of destruction and recreation, that's the proof.
That's the ultimate proof. For those who deny resurrection, Allah points to the world around them. He uses the analogy of dead, dry land. It looks hopeless. But then rain comes. And from that same dead earth, He brings forth life crops, fruits. And He says, in the same way, I will raise the dead.
Okay, so given the absolute terror of this reckoning, the concept of getting help must be central. The idea of intercession or shufa.
It's vital. It's essentially preparing advocates now to speak for you on that day when you might be too paralyzed by fear to speak for yourself.
It's like hiring your lawyers in advance. And the stakes are huge, right? It's not just a small bonus.
Oh, it's massive. Intercession can raise a person from, say, grade 1 in paradise up to grade 7, or it can even take someone who was destined for the fire and get them into paradise instead.
So who are these advocates? How do you prepare them?
The sources list several. Let's start with one that's tied to a specific place.
Okay.
The first advocate is dying in the holy city of Medina. The prophet said that whoever is able to die there, he himself will intercede for them.
But that's not accessible to most people. What's the next one?
The next one is accessible to absolutely everyone, the Qur'an, the Book of Allah. On that day, the Qur'an itself will be given a voice, and it will argue and defend you.
The whole book? Or are there specific parts?
There are specific parts that are highlighted, chapters 2 and 3, al-Baqarah and al-Imran. They're described as coming like two clouds or two canopies or like two flocks of birds in formation, and they will plead on your behalf for Allah to give you the garments of honor and the crown of honor.
Okay, so that's the text. What about actions, rituals we perform?
Absolutely. The third advocate is fasting, as-Yawm. This includes the month of Ramadan, of course, but also any extra voluntary fasts.
Like on Mondays and Thursdays.
Exactly. Fasting will literally speak up and say, "Oh Allah, I prevented him from his food and drink during the day, so let me speak for him." And the Qur'an will join in and say, "And I prevented him from sleep at night," referring to night prayers.
So they work together.
They do. The fourth advocate is similar. It's the extra units of prayer, or salah. Perfecting the 5 daily prayers is the foundation, but this is about the extra prostrations. The sunnah prayers, prayers for guidance, for repentance, all the extras. The Prophet's own servant once asked him for his intercession, and the Prophet's advice was incredibly simple. He just said, "Help me by prostrating a lot."
That's so practical. And there's another one that's even easier, right?
The fifth one is maybe the easiest of all. It's reciting a single, specific prayer, a dua, right after you hear the call to prayer, the adhan.
Just that one prayer.
Just that one prayer. If you do that consistently, the Prophet said his intercession becomes, and this is his word, an obligation upon him for you.
An obligation. That's a powerful guarantee. Okay, so we've covered A sacred place, a sacred text, and sacred rituals. What's left?
What's left is maybe the most relatable one, the sixth advocate. Good friends.
Your companion. Yeah.
Your righteous companions. The sources describe a scene where believers are safe in paradise, and they look around and they're well, and they realize some of their friends are missing.
The people they used to pray with, fast with.
Exactly. The ones they gave charity with. And they will complain to Allah about their missing friends. So Allah will allow them to go into the hellfire to pull out the people they recognize.
They go into the fire for their friends.
They do. Even if their friends are burned up to their ankles or their knees or their chest, they pull them out, and those people are then placed in something called the river of life to be healed before they can enter paradise.
So the friendships you forge in this life can literally save you in the next.
That's the power of righteous companionship. And it all connects back to the bigger picture. This day of judgment. It's a philosophical necessity. Without it, the sources argue that creation itself is for no reason.
Meaning it's all pointless.
It would be. The people who sinned would get away with it, and the people who struggled for good would have done it for nothing. This life isn't meant to be paradise. We're here to grow our hereafter. And every moment that passes, our time for that is shortening, not getting longer.
And that really brings us to the final thought, doesn't it? The Prophet said everything has a cure except for two things, death and old age. We know with total certainty that we can't reverse the signs of time, the white hair, the wrinkles. So if we accept our time is constantly, irreversibly shortening, how drastically should that awareness change our focus on preparing these 6 crucial advocates for that day when our time finally runs out? Something for you to reflect on until our next deep dive.